Hi, team. We've all heard the phrase, failure is just a part of life. But it's how we handle failure and the steps we take to move forward that ultimately allow us to be successful over time. In this video, I'm highlighting a 5-step process we can all use, regardless of the failure, whether it's losing a game, losing out on an award, or a job offer, that we can use that will allow us to, in fact, not only help us overcome that failure, but to be successful in achieving those goals we've set. So let's get into it. In step 1, the very first thing we can do when it comes to failure is allowing ourselves that time we need to decompress, that time we need to reflect on what just happened, that time we need to step away from the game, step away from the job application process, and just process what happened. Let's use the example when we receive a rejection, when we find out we've not been selected for a job we've been really excited about, our immediate reaction is to get frustrated, to get upset, and maybe even send a not so nice email response back. Instead, we take that email, we read it once, we read it again, and then step away. What we're doing here is allowing ourselves the time we need to really collect our composure and to analyze and interpret what just happened. That allows us to move into step 2 and do really a deeper dive. In step 2, what we're doing is assessing the situation or assessing what happened. In step 2, there's really 3 subcomponents that we're looking at. Number 1, we can reflect on what went well, whether it's in the application process or in the game or whatever endeavor we were pursuing, something went well. Maybe we scored well in particular areas. Maybe we felt really good about the cover letter and the resume we submitted. What we're doing here is making sense of what can we continue to use moving forward. On the opposite end, we ask ourselves what maybe didn't go as well as we had hoped. So this might be the interview we struggled on, or there were particular questions in that interview that we slipped up on. What we're trying to do here is get a better understanding of what may have contributed toward that failure. And then the last part of step 2 is what are we going to do differently? Based on those weaknesses or based on those slip-ups, what are the things we need to do differently to address those slip-ups? This is a structured process that requires us to get a better understanding from a critical perspective of what just happened. In step 3, we have to remove the intent or the interest in placing blame. So often when we fail, sort of as a defense mechanism, we blame the situation. We blame the room, we blame the environment, we blame the other party. That's unhealthy, and that's not going to help the situation. When we place blame, we're wasting attention, and we're wasting energy on really understanding what had happened and focusing on how do we overcome that failure moving forward. In step 4, it's really healthy to just take that step back and accept failure occurs every single day for every single one of us all the time. We all experience failure, and yet so often we find ourselves comparing our own successes, our own background and experiences with those around us. Whether it's we compare ourselves to how we're doing compared to the people we went to high school with, whether it's we compare ourselves to other individuals doing our same job, people who live in our neighborhood, those comparisons are often entirely inaccurate because we don't really recognize how many other failures everyone else is experiencing. Instead of looking at those failures that we go through as a reflection on who we are as people, we simply have to look at that failure as a part of our own opportunities to continue to grow. Step 5 is perhaps the most important of them all. Instead of continuing to ponder and assess what went wrong, let's redirect that energy toward defining a path forward. Here's where we're getting into what is that end outcome? What is that end goal we are trying to pursue? And working our way backward. What are the different objectives we need to meet? And what are the specific milestones we need to hit those objectives, which will ultimately allow us to successfully achieve our goal? Failure is a part of life, and it's nothing we're going to ever completely eliminate. But by using these 5 steps, we're going to continue to push ourselves forward. We're going to redirect our energy and attention from what went wrong and things that are wrong about us, and instead reinvest that energy into what can we do to be successful in achieving our goals. Hey team, if you found this video not only helpful but enjoyable, hit that like and subscribe to Time for Development button and continue investing in yourself.